So now Bill O'Reilly has actually been pretty soft on Donald Trump, even going so far as to try to coach him during some of his interviews. Now, Univision's anchor Jorge Ramos is actually going to challenge Bill O'Reilly on these softball interviews, and actually, it's pretty awesome. Let's take a look.
So now, if he gets a nomination, can you cover him fairly? Since you're on the record as saying the guy is, an anti-immigrant bigot.
Well, I think we are covering fairly Republicans and Democrats. I think we
but let's Trump himself.
I think we show that we can be tough on Democrats.
Yes, you've shown that.
Questions to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And I think we're really tough on Donald Trump because what he's saying, we cannot allow racism and discrimination to be normal.
But that's a subjective thing.
No, it isn't.
Well, there are people who know Donald Trump.
When you say that Mexican immigrants are criminals or rapists, that is, for many people, a racist remark.
Okay, but he didn't say all of them.
Oh, no, he didn't say all of them were, obviously. Okay, well, let's go back to what Donald Trump said. He said they're bringing in drugs, they're bringing in crime, and some, I assume, are good people. They're also rapists. I assume some were good people, but, we don't really know. We'll just assume that some are good people, but most people from Mexico that come over here, terrible people, rapists and and criminals. Okay. Now, here's the thing, right? Immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than actual American citizens. I bet that surprises you, especially when you get some of the outrageous media coverage where, like, an immigrant actually does do something terrible. And then everybody's like, kick him out, kick him out, kick him out. Yeah, that's one case. And yes, it's a high-profile case, but it's not representative of most immigrants. And there's data out there that shows that. But anyway, the idea that Mexico is just sending people off to America, their worst people off to America, is absolutely ridiculous. There's no proof. But however, if Trump said it, it must be true. That's how O'Reilly's taking it. But anyway, Jorge Ramos, he's going to continue.
I think as a journalist, you have to take a stand when it comes to racism.
How
and
can you cover him, Jorge?
Corruption, public lies, dictatorship, and human rights. If you don't take a stand in those instances, then what's our role as journalists? I think you have to be tougher on Donald Trump. You haven't been tough on him.
I have confronted Donald Trump in ways
how many times have you
that he has told me that I'm unfair, okay? So I'm not going to get into me. I want to bring it back to you.
You've talked to him so many times, and you...
Yeah, tonight, before you.
Sean Hannity, you let him get away with everything.
No. I don't get to let him get away with anything. I confront him.
Everything.
That's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the transcripts and everything he's done. I have asked him about it.
When it comes to immigration, he talks about a wall, and then...
I favor a wall.
And then you...
Wait. Am I a racist for favoring the wall?
No, it's not.
I favor a wall, and you know why?
But you let him get away with
No, I'm not going to let him get away with anything. I favor the wall.
It's a 1,900 miles wall. And then 40% of immigrants, they come by plane or with a visa. So
and that's got to be tightened up.
So what's the purpose of building a wall?
To keep tons of narcotics out of this country.
More Chinese.
That's the purpose.
More Chinese.
You're ignoring
India. Are coming than from Mexico.
I'm answering your questions. You're totally ignoring me.
No,
You're blowing me up.
I'm just saying that you're not being tough on Donald Trump.
All right, that's your opinion. The wall keeps narcotics out. The cartels that control Mexico are wreaking havoc on our population.
You know El Chapo. I mean, you have a wall, and then he built tunnels.
All right, fine. Let him build tunnels, then he'll get dirty.
Yeah. Look at that dismissal. Now let him build tunnels. It'll get dirty, but still, we're going to build that giant wall just because, well, we like the idea of the wall. Well, you know what? China also liked the idea of a wall. Didn't exactly work out for them very well. As Jorge pointed out, 40% of immigrants come by plane or boat. Oh, no, we got to tamp that down, too. We got to tamp that down. Yeah, okay, really. Oh, it looks like Bill O'Reilly is in favor of more big government, apparently, coming onto planes and kicking out immigrants. Great. Let's just start yelling, "Papers, please," at everyone. At everyone in the airport. If you look any bit Hispanic or not white, we just yell, "Papers! Show me your papers! Show me your papers!" at the border. And in the airport. And on the train. Why don't we just do that? You know what? Bill O'Reilly would be happy if we actually do that. God, he's so stupid. And he says, look, I favor the wall. I favor the wall. Really. Okay, well, so since I favor his wall and his idea to get Mexico to pay for it, I'm assuming, I'm going to let him get away with all of this hateful anti-immigrant rhetoric because, that's okay because I think it'll stop the drug cartels. I think it'll stop the drug cartels. That's where we build the wall. No, the wall is a symbol that, hey, darky, we want you to stay the fuck out. That's what that wall is a symbol of. That wall is a symbol of, we don't like you. You don't look like us, so we don't want you in the country. The wall is a symbol, not an actual effective way of keeping drug cartels out of the country. You know how to stop the drug cartels? Here's how you stop the drug cartels. You legalize drugs. Now everybody's like, oh my God, how could you legalize drugs? They kill people. No, you legalize drugs and you take the power and the money out of the cartel's hands. Okay? And in addition to that, in addition to legalizing drugs, you regulate them and you start treating addiction as if it's a disease instead of a criminal act. Not only will you save money on border enforcement, not only do you take the power and money out of the hands of the cartel, you weaken the cartels, you also have the benefit of not having to incarcerate millions of Americans for doing something that doesn't hurt anyone else. And I'm meaning, of course, marijuana. Now, we have proof that this actually works. Colorado legalized marijuana. And there was a recent report, well, not recent, 2015, right? It was done by the DEA in October 2015. And the report indicated that there has been a year-on-year 23% in reduction in border smuggling of drugs in 2014. Pretty soon after legalization, drug smuggling decreased. Interesting how that works, right? You actually make it available here and then make treatment centers available. And guess what? You reduce the powers of the cartels. Now, if we were to do that all across all the southern states and all across America, you're going to see less drug smuggling. Therefore, you won't need a wall. But see, the wall is not about drug smuggling, stopping drug smuggling, or even stopping illegal immigration. They're going to find ways around that. This wall is a symbol of, hey, we don't like you. You're not white. You're not one of us. So stay the fuck out of our country. That's what that is. Now, here's the thing, right? Jorge Ramos, back to him. Ramos has actually been incredibly tough on both Democrats and Republicans in the debates. And I think that's, the Univision debate, where he had especially the Democrats, he was very, very hard on both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. That's journalism. I like it when tough questions are asked. Unlike what you get from, for example, Anderson Cooper, asking super tough questions to Bernie Sanders and not so many tough questions to Hillary Clinton, or the Republicans especially. He had some tough ones towards Hillary Clinton, but when it comes to the Republicans, it was softball or right-wing framing on everything. Jorge Ramos, he don't do that. And neither does, and speaking of people who, are not tough on Democrats, or I should say not tough on Republicans, not tough on Trump, but are super tough on Democrats, you have Bill O'Reilly, who actually has a history of defending Donald Trump. Now let me give you an example, and this is from November 23rd of last year, when he talked about Trump, when Trump retweeted a picture from a white supremacist showing an incorrect stat on black on white crime. Let's take a look at that clip.
Are you aware that the liberal media and the Democratic Party in general trying to paint you as a racist? Are you aware of that?
I think so, but I think people know better than that.
all
I'm
right.
probably the least racist person on earth.
Well, I've known you a long time, and
I
I never saw any racism from you. However, when you tweet out a thing, and this bothered me, I got to tell you, you tweeted out that whites killed by blacks, these were statistics you picked up from somewhere, at a rate of 81%. And that's totally wrong. Whites killed by blacks is 15%. Yet you tweeted it was 81%. Now,
Bill, I didn't tweet. I retweeted somebody that was supposedly an expert.
but you don't
and it
wanna
was
be,
also a radio show.
Why do you want to be in that
well,
zone?
Hey, Bill, am I going to check every statistic? I get millions and millions of people.
You got
Real
it. You're a
Donald Trump, by the
presidential
way.
contender. You
I
got
have
to check
millions
it.
of people. You know what? Fine. But this came out of radio shows and everything else.
Oh, come on,
All
radio
it was is a
shows?
retweet. I didn't say. Excuse me. All it was is a retweet. It wasn't from me, and it did. It came out of a radio show
right.
and other places because you see all the names.
Look, you know I'm looking out for you, right? You know that? You know I'm looking out for you. I look out for every honest politician. I don't care what party they're in. Don't do this. Don't put your name on stuff like this because it makes the other side, it gives them stuff to tell the ill-informed voter that you're a racist. I mean, you just hand him in the platter.
This was a retweet, Bill. I'm sure you're looking out for me. Everybody is.
You know I'm looking out for you, man. I'm looking out for you, Trump. You just got to follow my advice. You got to stop tweeting out this stuff that shows that you're a racist. You got to stop tweeting out racist stuff or retweeting racist stuff. You got to stop that because it's going to give, and look at the framing on this, right? Well, you got to stop doing it, not because, I think you're a racist. You're totally not racist. I'm totally behind you. I got your back, Bill. Or I got your back, Trump. I got your back, Donald. Trust me. Don't do it because it makes the other side, it gives them the ill-informed voters. It gives them the impression that you might be racist. I think maybe the fact that you called Mexicans rapists and criminals, and the fact that you always kick out Black Lives Matter protesters, for example, and people who look different than you out of your rallies. I think those are the things that make you look like a racist. But no, Bill O'Reilly says, look, no, you're not a racist. I know you're not a racist guy. No, you're an honest politician, and I'm going to look out for you. No, Bill O'Reilly's totally fair. He's fair. He's unbalanced, right? He's asked Trump about things. He's asked Trump. And sure, he gave him advice, in order to protect him against the artful smears by the liberal media. How dare you tell me that I haven't challenged Trump? That's amazing. That's such amazing. All right. If that's a challenge, if that's a challenging interview, I wonder what it's like when you give a softball. Look, I got to give credit to Jorge Ramos on this one. This is great journalism. This was him coming up to Bill O'Reilly and challenging him, saying, look, you have defended Donald Trump. You're not giving him fair interviews. You're not challenging. And look, but Bill O'Reilly's defense is, well, I asked him questions that Donald Trump thought was unfair. Donald Trump's running to be president. Every question that doesn't fit his view or his narrative, he's going to say is unfair. No matter how much of a softball it is. It's amazing to me. And look, as I said, huge credit to Jorge Ramos on this one. He was not intimidated. A lot of people would be intimidated by Bill O'Reilly. He's a big guy, right? And to call Bill O'Reilly out to his face on his pro-Trump bias is exactly what journalism is supposed to be.